Hi there, I'm Mary Susie from Bead Me a Story, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cubed bead stretch bracelet, and I'll show you a close-up of it here. You can see that it has all cube beads along the inside of it, and I've changed the color on these as I went along, and the bracelet stretches. So we'll be using rubber O-rings to make this. This is not a hard project, but it does use quite a few jump rings. So this one will take you a little bit of time to make up, but it's totally easy to do and lots of fun. I just want to point out I did make a ring in this. The cool part about a ring made in rubber is that it's going to fit a lot of different sizes because it does stretch. So as long as you're pretty close to the size, something like this is going to fit you. And then I just want to show you that these were Miyuki beads in Picasso finishes, but this is Miyuki beads in opaque finishes. And I just want to mention that I have not yet tried the Toho beads that also come in some really beautiful finishes, and I will be trying that. My fear with those is that they're a little bit bigger, even though it's still 4mm size, and that the rubber O-rings may not fit through them just right. So if you want to make some of your own and you have a bunch of beads, I would stick with Miyuki for now. And of course the rubber O-rings and the jump rings you can get at beadmeastory.com. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to begin this project, the first thing you want to do is choose a nice thick beading wire. So this is just kind of like a bead-on type wire, and we want it to be as thick as possible. So this is a 49 strand that I chose. You might have like 32 or 17. Just pick the thickest one you can. The whole point of this is that you just want something thick enough where it's not going to tear through the rubber O-ring. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our rubber O-ring and we're going to put it onto this strand, and we're going to use this like a needle. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of my 4mm cube beads. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to bring in a pair of pliers. I'm just using the pliers. You can use your hands, but I'm using the pliers because we're going to do a lot of these, and it's going to make this much easier on your hands. Okay, so you just pull that, and you want it right around the middle of the O-ring. Okay, so we're going to just do this again and again and again. I'll show you with the other two colors I have here. I just pick up the O-ring onto my wire. I pass both ends of this beading wire through the bead, grab my pliers, and I'm going to pull this on. There's another one. It won't drop off there. Not sure why. Okay, there's another one of those. Pick up another rubber O-ring. This time I'm going to pick up my red ones. So your cube beads you're using can be any colors. I thought it'd be nice to do like the Picasso look ones for the video, but really you can use any 4mm cube beads. The only thing I would caution you about is these are all Miyuki Cube Beads, and I tried to stay consistent that way with it. Because if you go switch to, let's say, Toho, the size of the bead might be slightly different. Okay, so you just want to stay consistent with who manufactured the bead, and the likelihood of the beads being very similar in size is going to be much stronger. Okay, so the next thing we're going to need to do is go ahead and open our jump rings. So you can see here I have 8 of them sitting out here just to get us started. These are 20 gauge 7/64 jump rings, and they're really small, but you know, still this is a pretty easy pattern, so hopefully you'll be able to work with them just fine. So we're going to go ahead and take our first one, and we're going to pass through. I'm going to start with the black, and then I'm going to go to the turquoise. Okay, so connecting 2 together. Okay, and then I'm going to do that a second time. Just make sure that you don't accidentally pass through the jump ring that's already there. We're just trying to get 2 jump rings that are just side by side with each other. Okay, so we've got that one, and then let's connect them at the bottom. So all of the cubes are just going to get laid side by side, and we're going to connect the rubber O-rings at the top and at the bottom with 2 jump rings on either side. So basically when you go to open your jump rings, you want 4 jump rings for every single one of the cube beads that you put onto an O-ring. And for me, I figured out a medium-sized bracelet is about 66 rows. I'm sorry, 44 rows of this. And in this case, because I'm doing 3 colors of cube beads, I'm actually doing 45 rows. So that would be a women's medium. So you can go up or down from there on how many you make for enough rows to turn this into a bracelet. This could also be a ring. Okay, so you can see I connected the top and the bottom. All right, and then let's go ahead and connect the next one to it. So that would be the garnet Picasso. Okay, so you can see it can be a little bit difficult to get the jump rings through the O-rings, but just kind of keep the tip of your jump ring tilted a little bit inward so you don't tear the jump ring. Be very aware of jump rings that perhaps have little nibs on them or something. You don't want to use that with rubber O-rings. It can definitely cause a little tear in them and cause them to break later. And there we go. Okay, so you can see I've got the top of this done now. I did 2. And you see that got a little bit tighter because, you know, now I'm not connecting to an empty one. I was connecting to one that already had a pair through it. But you can see that this works just fine. It's going to make it nice and tight. And when you make this bracelet, you're not even actually really going to know that it's got rubber in it because you barely see it. You're mostly just going to see the beads, and because the jump rings are doubled, those are pretty visible too. But they just look like a straight line of metal. They don't look like you know, they're just going to blend into it, so they're going to look very attractive. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Cube colors. You'll notice I just turned this around. That was just because I could dig into this side of the jump ring and get a little bit better grip on this jump ring to get it closed. Okay, so there's that. That's my 3. And I'll just show you a little strip that I got started. I'll connect that strip of 3 I just made to this. And we're just going to keep going until this is the length of a bracelet that we want. And that'll be what fits directly on your wrist, because we're not going to need a clasp. And the reason we don't need a clasp is because the rubber O-rings will stretch. So we'll be able to get this over our hand easily. Okay, so as you can see, I've reached full length of what I need for this. I'll just show you a close-up of how pretty these beads are in this. And then to finish this, you'll notice that I have a black at the start and a red at the end. So I just have 4 jump rings left, and I'm just going to continue the same way I have been, except that I'm going to be connecting the beginning to the end. Okay, so I'll just bring this around, pass through here, Okay, so there's one, and we'll do another one here because we've doubled all of our jump rings. Okay, there's 2 at the top, and then we're going to add 2 to the bottom. Okay, we're on our last one. And there we go. Okay, so we have a finished bracelet. So that's all there was to it. This is really simple, stretchy. You don't even see the rubber practically in it. All you can really see of the rubber is just this little section that comes over top on the outside. But otherwise, you would just think that this was a gemstone bracelet. And it's really pretty. You could also use this type of band on a watch or something like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. Please visit beadmeastory.com for this and other projects. And be sure to like and follow me on YouTube. Thank you so much.